Hi, I'm Kobe with Theaterly, and I'm so excited to be chatting with Cinco Paul, chatting with Ann Harada, chatting with Dove Cameron, and Aaron Tveit, all about Schmigadoon.
Yeah, I actually had the idea almost 25 years ago. I think I was watching American Werewolf in London and the opening of the two guys backpacking. It's one of my favorite movies. And suddenly I thought, oh, this opening is very similar to Brigadoon. And then for some reason it popped into my head, what if instead of meeting a werewolf, they meet a town that's in a musical? But I really didn't know what it was beyond that, so I kind of filed it away. And then 20 years later, had a meeting with Andrew Singer at Broadway Video, Lorne Michaels' company, wanting to do TV, and they mentioned they were interested in something musical. And suddenly I thought, oh, maybe it's time for this old idea that I haven't done anything with for 20 years.
I'm not dumb. I mean, who wouldn't take the opportunity to work on a new original musical for TV with like the biggest stars of Broadway?
Musical and camera was always something that actually made a lot of sense to me. Like intuitively, I was like, those worlds kind of, for me, they go together better almost than they do individually. But the musical comedy aspect is really intricate to strike, like that balance between what is like over the top slapstick to the point of like, okay, we get it, this is a parody, to like sort of like understated nuance, while also having these like fantastical elements.
Musicals are tricky, and you always have to find a way in to tell the story. And dramatic musicals sometimes are a little easier because you just have, it's so much passion and heart and all of this. But to make that comedy work, because it's a little more broad, a little more suspension of disbelief. But I think with this, kind of pairing these seemingly one-dimensional ideas of people against two incredible, sarcastic contemporary comedians in Cecily and Keegan, that's the way into this.
Obviously, if you know Carousel or Oklahoma or Music Man, Sound of Music, you're recognizing a lot of nods to all my favorite scenes and favorite songs.
Look at the stuff in the windows, the signs on the stores, what's written on the board in the school. There's all that kind of stuff.
Those are buried in the production design, which is so smart that they did that, because people will be able to see it. But I think, they just did a brilliant job of creating these songs that stand alone as their own in their own story, but make you say, oh, that sounds just like this other song that I know, which is so hard to do.
Well, this is easy because I really only make two kinds of pies. I really only make apple and custard. My guesses would be apple because I think it would travel better.
This is boring, but I actually do make a really incredible pie. I make a really good crumble. And I can do a paleo apple crumble that is crazy. You will never know that it doesn't have all your favorite things in it. Or like a blackberry cobbler.
I think mine would be very autumnal. I'm an October baby, and autumn is my favorite time of year. I like savory, so it'd probably be like a vegan pumpkin pie.
I would make rhubarb pie because it's my favorite pie of all. And this at the bake sale, it's rhubarb squares that the Reverend and the Mayor, they share together. And that's all due to my love of rhubarb. And they made about 50 rhubarb squares and they were all left over and I claimed them all. I was eating rhubarb squares for weeks.